at 710, the same letter that you were pointing out, 25th November 19. It's in Marathi. And that probably will be the essence because it's a translation that you've shown us.
Yes, I'll go by my Lord the Chief Justice.
More light on that. Honorable
It
the
says,
Chief Justice.
गुरुवार दिनांक 31 ऑक्टोबर 2019 रोजी, I mean, I'm sure my learned brothers will get some flavor of it. रोजी शिवसेना भवन दादर मुंबई येथे शिवसेने पक्षाच्या नवनिर्वाचित आमदारांची बैठक शिवसेना प्रमुख माननीय श्री उद्धवजी ठाकरे यांच्या उपस्थितीत संपन्न झाली. महाराष्ट्र राज्य विधानसभा निवडणूक 2019 मध्ये निवडून आलेल्या सर्व नवनिर्वाचित आमदारांनी बैठकीची सुरुवातीलाच या बैठकीत होणाऱ्या निर्णयांचे सर्वस्वी अधिकार अध्यक्ष म्हणून शिवसेना प्रमुख श्री उद्धवजी ठाकरे यांना दिले. याप्रमाणे बैठकीत महाराष्ट्र राज्य विधिमंडळातील शिवसेना पक्षाच्या गटनेता म्हणून आमदार श्री एकनाथ संभाजी शिंदे व विधानसभेतील मुख्य प्रतोद म्हणून आमदार श्री सुनील प्रभू यांची एकमताने निवड करण्यात आली. या दोन्ही निवडींचे दोन ठराव पुढील प्रमाणे आहेत. So it says that, well, all the decisions, the power to take all the decisions was entrusted to Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, and an election was then held at which so-and-so was nominated as a group leader and so was nominated as the chief whip.
Well, that's what I thought, Mullah. The adhikar was given to him, Mullah.
And then it is sort of ratified by all the MLAs.
Yes. So, Mullah, just kindly come to PDF 55 of the statute compilation. 140? Yeah, this is what it is, 55. Oh, sorry. So 140, sorry.
And then ठराव क्रमांक 1 also says, शिवसेना पक्षाच्या नवनिर्वाचित आमदारांच्या या बैठकीत ठराव करण्यात येत आहे की शिवसेना पक्षाच्या विधिमंडळ गटनेते पदी आमदार श्री एकनाथ संभाजी शिंदे यांची निवड करण्यात येत आहे. That's a resolution. So it's a resolution, as Mukesh Bhai says, of
the statute compilation. And then I'll come back to the other documents. Let's clear this issue, Mullah.
140.
Don't say do this, do that. Now kindly see, Mullah, at 142. PDF, Mullah, 142. These are, Mullah, the Maharashtra Legislature Members Removal of Disqualification Act. And removal of certain disqualifications. See paragraph 2 at page 142. Section 2 at page 142. Yes, I hope your lordships are feeling much better today.
Little better, yes. Thank you.
Page 142, section 2.
Just all professional hazards, back, neck.
I know. A person shall not be disqualified from being chosen as or being a member of the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly or Maharashtra Legislative Council merely by reason of the fact that he holds any of the offices specified in Schedule 1. And that at 145 you have Schedule 1 minutes. And 23, item 23 there is the offices of the chief whip or whip in the Maharashtra state legislature. Now kindly read the explanation with me. If your lordships and ladyship has it.
Yes.
The offices of the chief whip, the expression chief whip or whip in relation to the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly means that member of the House who is, for the time being, declared by the party.
Completely redacted, yeah.
I'm sorry?
Was it redacted? It's actually,
They have
it's
highlighted it.
oh, it's highlighted, but I'm getting the highlighting.
So much so that there is nothing except yellow here.
Already highlighted. That's,
मेरे पास है.
I also
Oh, okay.
highlighted.
It's all just yellow. Everybody.
We all
Very
have.
sad.
Why, Malas? How?
They must have highlighted it and then scanned it. So
Yeah, so it's come back.
I'm sorry, Malas, for this.
Very
Pre-highlighted.
surprised. I don't know
I
why.
was also wondering that I haven't done it.
Meera,
I am surprised myself.
Doesn't matter.
you don't also have it. Yeah, you can read it slowly then, I think.
You can give us a copy later, but you can slowly read.
Yes, it says.
It's my two
office-
brothers and we can
I
share.
also have it.
I'll pass on, Malas, sir.
See it.
Can I can share.
We can pass.
Returnable basis or what?
You're giving it to some?
Pass on another one, please.
I have mine as mine. Can share.
Just give another for the Chief Justice, please.
No, I have it. My pen drive is okay.
Okay, all right. Now, may I read, Malas?
Yes.
The expression chief whip or whip in relation to the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly means that member of the House who is for the time being declared by the party forming the government to be the chief whip or whip in that House and recognized as such by the Speaker, and includes a member of the House who is for the time being declared as such by the party, having at least 10% of the total members of the House and recognized as such by the Speaker. The expression chief whip or whip in relation to the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly means the member of the House, that member of the House who is for the time being declared by the party forming the government to be the chief whip or whip in that House and recognized as such by chairman, and includes a member of the House who is for the time being declared as such by the party having at least 10% of the total members of the House and recognized as such. It's clear, Malas, that this is, there's no doubt about these things, Malas. I read to your lordships yesterday, in fact, the communication by the chairperson of the UPA to the chairman of the Rajya Sabha that after Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad, Mr. Kharge is the leader of the legislative party. So on this, there is really no issue, Malas. Back.
Yes.
Now I come back to volume 2, page 17. One second. So, Malas, yes. Then this is, Malas, at 21st of June, a meeting of all members of the Shiv Sena, Malas, PDF 19. PDF 19.
19.
PDF 19 of Convenience Compilation Volume 2. I'm coming back to that compilation, Malas.
Serial number 5.
Page 6, no, Malas, otherwise, page 6.
Party
Party whip. A meeting of all members of the Legislative Assembly on Tuesday on 21st June at 12:30 has been arranged at the Honorable Chief Minister's residence, Varsha Bungalow. Therefore, all members of the Shiv Sena should positively remain present for the said meeting. So that's how, Malas, the issue starts. And this is given by the party whip. And Malas, those who are present, they have signed it. We don't have to go into that at the moment. The typed copy is there. And then kindly come to page PDF page 32. As per whip, bylaws have 32 PDF. As per whip issued by the Chief Speaker of Shiv Sena, Shri Sunil Prabhu, the meeting of members of the Shiv Sena party was concluded on Tuesday, 21st of June, as Chief Minister's residence at Varsha Bungalow, and under the chairmanship of the party president, Uddhav Ji. In the meeting, the following resolution was passed unanimously. Resolution Eknath Shinde, the member of Legislative Assembly, has been removed. Forthwith from the post of group leader of Shiv Sena Legislative Party, Ajay Chaudhary, member of Legislative Assembly, has been immediately elected unanimously on the post of group leader of Shiv Sena Legislative Party that has become vacant. A copy of the aforesaid resolution via Article 180 of the Constitution be forwarded to the Honorable Vice President, Maharashtra Legislative Assembly, who is discharging the duties of the post of President, Maharashtra Legislative Assembly. Presented by Ravindra Vayakar and Uday Samant and the others. So, we change the party's decision to remove him as the group leader. Then comes Malat's PDF, page 34, again on 21st of June. Yes, we communicated this decision to the Deputy Speaker, and that your Lordships will see to the Vice President, Maharashtra Legislative Assembly.
Page?
It's actually Vice President is the wrong translation, it's the Deputy Speaker. At page 34, Malats, PDF page 34. A meeting of members of Shiv Sena Legislative Party was held under the chairmanship of so-and-so. In this meeting, the following resolution was passed, Malats, and that is sent, Malats, for appropriate action. Your Lordship sees that. You don't have to read the whole document. Sent for appropriate action.
It's already appointed.
Then, Malats, PDF page 36, again 21st of June. Because the party decides to make Ajay Chaudhary the group leader. That also is communicated, Malats, to the Deputy Speaker. And that your Lordships will find at page 36. I don't have to read it, Malats, it just be waste of time. That I am directed to inform you that the request made by the above letter to accord approval to the election of Shri Ajay Chaudhary, member of the Legislative Assembly, to the post has been accepted by the President, Maharashtra Legislative Assembly. So he accepts that, Deputy Speaker accepts that. That's how the process is, Maharaj. Party conveys to the Deputy Speaker accepts it. That's in all assemblies in India, including Parliament, Maharaj. Then, Maharaj, kindly come to
1 minute.
Yes, Maharaj, yes.
Both the resolution which you read,
Yes.
the communications, one removing Mr. Eknath Shinde, correct, and appointing this Ajay Chaudhary, were in the meeting of the legislative party. Please see.
Yes, yes.
They were not the decisions taken or the resolutions were passed in the party meeting.
No, but that doesn't happen, Maharaj.
That-
never happens. Maharaj, what happens?
Just for clarity of
Yes, certainly. Sir.
both these resolutions
Yes.
were in the meeting of the legislative
I
party.
tell your Lordships why. Maharaj, I tell your Lordships why. Maharaj, what happens is, it's the legislative party that has to accept a leader. There is always a consultation with the party. The party is represented by Uddhav Thackeray.
Just what we want to say, speaking of myself, it was not in the meeting of the party.
No, it is never.
It
It is never, Malaj. It is never. Well, I'm explaining that to you. Explaining that. Ultimately, Malaj, a group leader or a leader in the house has to be chosen. Right? So what the party whip and what the leader of the party does is calls the legislators and says, who would you like to be the leader? They take their view and the party takes the decision. It's not a party meeting. Your Lordship is right. It doesn't happen in the AICC or the DPCC. It happens, Malaj, with the leader, namely the chairperson or the Prime Minister, Malaj, acting in his capacity as the head of the BJP. He will be consulted. But it's why? Because it is the legislative members who have to accept somebody as a leader. So the decision is given by the party that this is the person who is we choose as the leader. Now you cannot, doesn't happen in the plenary, Malaj. That's the process, Malaj.
Okay.
And I will demonstrate that, Malaj, that your Lordship is absolutely right. Because ultimately, Malaj, who has to work? Somebody within the legislature has to work with the leader. Here, they are the ones who are concerned. So their views will be taken and the party will decide.
Yes.
So therefore, they say, okay, let Uddhav Thackeray decide, we'll accept what you say. That's how it happens.
According to you, the decision in the legislative party meeting would always be on the advice of the party.
Always.
That
always.
is what you're saying.
That's right, always. And it's recognized by this court, Manoj, in several decisions. So Malaj, this is the practice, it's the norm everywhere in every political party.
Leader as well as the whip, both you're saying.
Sorry?
Leader as well as the whip.
That's right, that's right. Malaj, what happens, I just explained that also. Leadership will decide who the chief whip will be. Leadership will decide who the group leader will be. But the chief whip will decide, not pursuant to, chief whip will decide, carry out the instructions of the leader when matters are in the house. There, Malaj, the leader doesn't come in. Chief whip will say, we'll go to the leader and say, look, this is the issue before the house. How do we deal with it? Leader will discuss it with the chief whip. Chief whip will communicate. That's how parliamentary democracy works.
Yes.
But your Lordship is absolutely right. And it's a good point that your Lordship has pointed out so that I can clarify it. Then, Malaj, kindly see 22nd of June. In the backdrop of causing party crossing over and thereby attempting to destabilize the government, and considering the consequential political situation that has been created in the state, an urgent meeting has been arranged on 22nd of June at 5 at Varsha Bungalow, Mount Pleasant Road, to face such situation. Your presence for this meeting is necessary, which please note. The said notice has been forwarded on your email ID registered in the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly. That apart, you have also been informed through social media, WhatsApp and SMS. You cannot remain absent for this meeting unless valid and sufficient reasons in writing is given. If you fail to remain present for the meeting, it will be presumed that you have clear intention to leave membership of Shiv Sena party voluntarily, as a result of which action as provided in the Constitution of India with respect to disqualification of members will be taken against you, note of which is taken. This is communicated to Eknath Shinde by whom? By the whip, by Sunil Prabhu, who represents the party.
So is it a typo at the end of that chief speaker? It should be chief whip.
Yes, it's chief whip, Malaj, not chief speaker. It must be a translation issue.
Yes, it's I was reading the Marathi, it's chief whip.
Yes. And then, Malaj, the 22nd June notice is sent, which is PDF 39. In the background of the recent concluded Maharashtra Legislative Council elections held on 20th of June, and in view of the volatile political situation emerging in the state on account of repeated attempts being made to destabilize the government by orchestrating defections within the Shiv Sena and to discuss and draw out a political strategy to address and contain any such exigency, you are urgently called upon to attend the meeting of the Shiv Sena Legislative Party today on 22nd to be held at so-and-so place. Please note that failure to participate in the meeting without providing valid and adequate reasons in writing communicated in advance to the undersigned will result in consequential action against you under the relevant provisions of the Constitution. This notice is being sent on email address provided by the legislatures and registered with the Maharashtra Assembly, along with soft copies being served on SMS and WhatsApp as well. This again is sent by the Chief Whip Mullahs and Mullahs.
What page is this, sir? What page is this?
Next document is
26.
page 40, PDF page 40, 22nd of June. Says, subject notice of Shiv Sena Legislative Party meeting. An emergency meeting has been organized on Wednesday, 22nd June at 5 p.m. at Varsha, whatever, to deal with the situation as there is an attempt to destabilize the government by shifting parties in the background and therefore the political situation created in the state. It is important to note that this meeting requires your presence. Notice has been sent to you by email. You have registered with the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly. In addition to you, then SMS, WhatsApp. It should be noted that if you do not attend, Mullahs, then you're liable. In accordance with the Constitution, action will be taken. This is sent by the Chief Whip, and then this is sent to all these people, and they don't attend. Then your lordships may go straight away.
What is the annexure 10?
Annexure.
Annexure 10, that is the next page of PDF 41.
That's the people, Mullahs, who attended and those people who didn't
Those who
attend.
attended.
That's right. That's what it is. Yes. Now, Mullahs, now comes the document, which is, Mullahs, crucial for this case.
What is that document, Mr. Sir?
This is at PDF 51. This communication which I have read was sent to Eknath Shinde, Mullahs, by the Chief Whip. Now Eknath Shinde replies to it.
Just 1 second.
Not Eknath Shinde, but Kopri. Oh, I see. Oh, that's the constituency now.
Sunil Prabhu. By Eknath Shinde.
Now kindly see to Sunil Prabhu this document. Now it says you have misused the authenticate letter of the office of the Shiv Sena Legislative Party. A meeting of 45 MLAs of Shiv Sena Party was held under the chairmanship of Honorable Group Leader Eknath Shinde. And in the said meeting, you have been unanimously removed from the post of Chief Speaker of the party, Chief Whip of the party. Shiv Sena MLA Bharat Gogavale has been appointed as the post of Chief Speaker, Chief Whip of the Legislative Assembly. As per letter of 22nd June, Shiv Sena Legislative Party office, despite you having no authority to sign, has sent to me notice which is legally invalid. You have no right to send me the said notice. Therefore, it is not binding upon me to remain present. Now, Mullahs, this act, the fact that you did not attend the meeting, the fact that you wrote this letter, the fact that you appointed the Chief Whip, you 45 people or whoever, whether it's 40 or 45 at the moment, we're not on that, that you are members of the Legislative Assembly, you have appointed your own Chief Whip, you say that you are no longer the Whip. Mullahs, is all, Mullahs, there is no, as far as I am concerned, Mullahs, this is per se illegal. This doesn't emanate from the party. He cannot, members of the legislature cannot, Mullahs, pass such a resolution. Cannot defy the whip, cannot remove the whip. So the 40 odd members, Mullahs, sitting in Assam convert themselves into the party and decide to remove everybody. The next document is at page 52. Again, June 22nd, 2022.
52.
Same thing, Malaj, that you have misused the official letterhead in a meeting of 45 MLAs held under the chairmanship of Group Leader Eknath Shinde. You have been unanimously removed from the position of Chief Whip. So he is acting as a group leader of the members of the legislature. So therefore, Malaj, let's put it in simple terms. In any assembly, 10 people can get together and remove Malaj, the Chief Whip. And then they can go to the opposite party and Malaj, with the numbers game that is going on, they can they can actually destabilize the government and have their own chief minister. This is the outcome if this is upheld to be, if it is held to be valid. If such an exercise is held to be valid, the outcome is that you can remove, an elected government can be removed any time depending on the arithmetic.
To put it on the flip side, therefore, Mr. Sibal, your contention would be then, if this outcome has to be lawfully achieved, of removing the chief whip or the group leader, then what is the course of action to be followed according to you?
You have to go to the party, call a meeting of the party. Call a meeting of the party, or you merge.
Party would mean the national executive, or what would it mean?
You have to call the national executive, the Pratinidhi Sabha, the general body, the Pratinidhi Sabha, not the Karyakarani, Malaj. That's 13 members. The Pratinidhi Sabha has 262 odd members. Malaj, point is, they have never been to the party.
Of course, the only chink in that submission, I mean, we must put it to you straight so that you can deal with it, is that that was not the process which was originally followed when the chief whip or the group leader was nominated, unless we also postulate that when the group leader and the chief whip were originally nominated, Uddhav Thackeray was acting as the party.
Yes, because he was neither a member of the council nor was he the chief minister. He was nothing. He is the Paksh Pramukh under the constitution.
One thing, as Brother Justice Ahmad Shah pointed out very clearly, it's obvious that the appointment and the nomination of the group leader and the chief whip was made at a meeting of the MLAs. Now, because it clearly says, Amdarancha Baitagid. But
answer that straight away.
But it is also in the presence of Mr. Thackeray, and the MLAs begin by saying that we are assigning to Mr. Uddhav Thackeray the right to take all decisions.
Right.
Then they pass a resolution at a meeting of the MLAs. So it's a sort of a hybrid situation where the group leader, power to nominate a group leader and the chief whip is delegated to Shri Uddhav Thackeray, but there is a, so to speak, an anointment of them at the meeting of the MLAs. So the only way really that can be, the two can be reconciled is by postulating that in that sense, at the original meeting, Mr. Uddhav Thackeray was the party. He was, whether you like it or not, he was the party. It was not a meeting of the national executive. It was not a meeting of the plenary of the party. But he was really the whole and soul because he was not an elected member at that point of time at all.
He was the president, Malaj, of the party.
He was the president.
Paksh Pramukh.
He was a Paksha Pramukh.
Yes. Malaj, it's very interesting your lordship raised this. Let's analyze it. Let's, Malaj, analyze the circumstances against me. Let's assume this all can be done within the legislature. I'll assume that, Malaj, that the party has no role. So, Malaj, therefore, 50 people in the House can actually have a leader in the House without reference to the party. If that logic is accepted. 50 members of the House can actually oust the party whip appointed by the party. That's the consequence.
When were the elections held? I think
2018.
the first document at page PDF 14,
23rd January 2018.
17th February 2018.
No, but that's the communication, but the elections are 23rd January
23rd
2018.
January, it speaks about that.
Yes. The point that I'm making to your lordships is, This is unheard of in any democracy, in any legislature.
Elections were held on 23/1/18, you said, right?
23.
Yes. Mullahs, it will be entirely unworkable. Because you will then say that there is no relationship between the members of the legislature and the party. They are independent of the party, they can take whatever decision they like. It will be destructive of, if you ask me, the basic structure of a system of governance, which allows the party and the legislatures to be intertwined in matters where the decisions have to be taken on various very significant issues as they come up in the assembly or in parliament.
Well, you can tell me later, but what I want to know, this letter speaks about organizational elections.
Yes,
It talks about organizational
that's correct.
elections. So what are this? It is to the different tiers, is it?
Yes, it's in different tiers.
There's something called a general body, is it?
There is a Rashtriya Karyakarani, which is the national executive, 13 members. Then there is the Pratinidhi Sabha, which is about 262 members.
What is at the bottom?
Sorry?
What is representing the general body?
Pratinidhi Sabha.
Pratinidhi Sabha.
Pratinidhi Sabha. But of course, you can't hold a meeting of all the members of the party all over Maharashtra.
I'm just asking for
Yes,
information.
so there's a tier system. There's a tier system.
Is at is virtually like a general body.
Yes, there's a tier system by which people are both appointed and elected.
Pratinidhi Sabha.
Yes, Pratinidhi Sabha.
And Mr. Sibal, possibly this line of argument of yours is also buttressed by 2B of the 10th schedule,
Yes.
which says if he votes or abstains from voting in such house, contrary to the direction issued by the political party to which he belongs,
Yes,
or by any person or authority authorized by it in this behalf.
that's correct.
So the whip is really a person who is authorized by the political party.
That's correct. That's correct. That's how it functions. That's how
Because the direction has to be given by the political party. It can't keep on giving a direction. It's a larger body.
Yeah, that's right.
So therefore, it delegates its power and it authorizes a person who will then issue a direction on which way to vote in the assembly.
In matter when it came up before the law commission, it will be disastrous for democracy, disastrous for the country if the legislature party is allowed to act independent of the political party.
So the actual whip, without, it says, or by any person or authority authorized by it in the
That's correct. I read that.
So yes, so the party really nominates or authorizes a person.
That's correct.
And the act of defection lies in
Correct.
voting or abstaining from voting contrary to a direction given by the party or by that person.
Because I want to ask
authorized by the
myself,
party.
supposing there's a bill in parliament, the legislative party on its own can't decide what the position will be.
Right.
It cannot. Naturally, there'll have to be consultation with the party. Because they are not living in a side, they are not acting as a separate entity.
They are really the voice of the party in parliament or the state legislature.
That's correct.
It's the political party.
The genus is the party, they are the species.
Yes.
Yes.
Political party which either sends the MLAs who, because of majority, form the government.
Yes.
Or they could even send members of legislative assembly who will be sitting in the opposition.
That's correct.
So nevertheless, the controlling factor
Has to be the party.
will be the political party,
Yes.
which will, through its MLAs, operate either as.
Because they are there because of the party.
Their mandate is the mandate of the party.
That's correct.
And therefore, how they function in the house is determined by the mandate which has brought them into the house.
That's correct. Exactly, Madam.
You have no and I think that seems to be a fair understanding of the 10th schedule of that.
10th schedule
has to be linked to it.
Mullahs, you have to maintain the integrity of the political party within the house. Its programs, its views on reservation, its views on the 10th schedule, its views on Mullahs, foreign policy. Individual members of the legislature don't decide on foreign policy issues. Mullahs, the party decides. And party systems are such that you have committees where people who are in the past also, who are members of the party, who have experience in foreign policy, who've been ex-ministers of foreign policy, Because they become members of the committee, they advise the party as to what position should be taken, and a matter comes up, the legislators are only told that this is what should be done. Within that framework, you can make your case out.
So they articulate the views of the party in the House.
That's correct.
Yeah. One important distinction is, sorry.
Go ahead.
No.
Yeah, you tell them.
Just to take 15 seconds, a bizarre example of how the party governs. Very interesting, apropos Lordship, because I happen to be chairman of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Law in 2011, and the most contentious Lokpal bill came. We had a report signed by all except 3 dissents. 3 dissents are all, every 31-member committee, which is a mini parliament, everybody signed, all political parties, 17 political parties. Matter went to Rajya Sabha. All of them supported the report because they had signed it. Overnight, whereas the party stand of one particular party, I'll not name it, changed. The matter came to Lok Sabha. The same party which has signed took a different stand in Lok Sabha because the instructions from the party to the legislative wing of the Lok Sabha was that no, this has to be opposed. Lokpal has to be opposed. This is in the record of Parliament. So whereas the party decides, this is an extreme example that the party which had agreed with the report actually opposed it in Lok Sabha because the members are only legislators, but they received the instructions. It's an important, well-known regional party, but the policy changed that no, we must oppose Lokpal, therefore it was opposed in Lok Sabha. So that was the best validation of this kind of example.
Any number of examples like that. Any number of examples.
It's the reverse engineering.
It's a political decision on so many other factors.
The legislative members controlling the party is actually reverse engineering.
Yes, Your Lordship is right. Exactly. Therefore, these documents become exceptionally important because they will determine the outcome of this litigation. If you give validity and legality.
So, Mr. Sibal, we have seen all the documents now?
Not yet, Madam.
All right. No, because the next step, I was going to request you to formulate it in 2 or 3 submissions for us, but you can complete the documents and then give us a brief formulation of 2 or 3.
No, Madam, then I have to read Your Lordship some judgments which actually deal with it.
Before we go into the judgments, you can just formulate it for us in 2 or 3 submissions. We'll take it down, but let's complete the document, then the formulation and then the judgments.
Yes, let me just quickly go through the documents now.
Yes.
So page 52 I've read. Then kindly come to Malad's resolution of the meeting of the Shiv Sena Maharashtra Legislative Assembly 1919 to 2024. Malad, that document is at page 50, PDF 55. Now, Malad, this is what is passed. Very interesting.
What is the date?
Well, it's signed by Bharat Gogavale, very interesting document. This tells you the story, Malaj. Resolution of the meeting of the Shiv Sena Legislative Assembly. Maharashtra Legislative Assembly 1990 to 2024. We, the following members of the 14th Maharashtra Legislative Assembly, belonging to the Shiv Sena, we are notified as the members of the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly as members of Shiv Sena Legislature Party. We had unanimously elected Eknath Sambhaji Shinde on 31st October 2019 as group leader of the Shiv Sena Legislature Party. There was a pre-poll alliance between the Bharatiya Janata Party and Shiv Sena Party for the 14th Maharashtra Legislative Assembly. There has been great dissatisfaction prevalent among the members of our party, Shiv Sena, and our party cadre at large, on account of corruption in the government, administration regarding police posting, corruption by then Home Minister so-and-so, sitting minority minister so-and-so. Apart from above reasons, our party cadre faced tremendous harassment and distress on political as well as personal grounds from the opposition, ideological parties who are now a part of the government and were using their office and power to undermine the base and foundation of Shiv Sena. There is enormous discontent amongst the cadres of our party, Shiv Sena, for forming the government with NCP and INC, who are ideologically opposed to our party. There has been a compromise on the principles of our party, Shiv Sena, which has been a party of fierce ideological base and was formed for fighting for the rights of local Marathi people. For last 2.5 years, our party and its leadership have compromised party principles by aligning with the contrasting ideologies for the sake of achieving power. The ideology of our party leader, late Bala Sahib Thackeray was to give a clean and honest government to the people of Maharashtra, and also without compromising on the principle of Hindutva, which was defeated on the first day itself by aligning with the opposing ideologies. Shiv Sena and Bharatiya Party has forged a pre-poll alliance for 2019 Maharashtra Assembly. They sought the blessings of the voters of the Sena BJP alliance, which the voters accepted and voted in favor of alliance. After results were out, the Shiv Sena severed its ties with the BJP and formed an alliance with the opposing parties, which they had fought against in 2019. This act of our party leaders had a tremendous negative impact upon the voters and the party cadre. There was a continuous hue and cry towards party leadership for the act of aligning with the opposing parties. Ignoring this, party leadership went ahead and formed the Maha Vikas Aghadi government. For the last 2.5 years, we, the Shiv Sena legislative party members, were facing tremendous pressures from the electorate. We, the members of the legislative party, as well as all leaders and workers throughout the country, were facing a lot of humiliating questions. Our leader, Bala Sahib Thackeray, was always a strong nationalist. We've also been subjected to a lot of criticism for being part of the corrupt Maharashtra. In view of the above, the members of the Maharashtra Shiv Sena legislative party have met today and resolved this under. What have they resolved? Hereby resolved and reaffirmed that Shinde, who was appointed as leader of Shiv Sena Legislative Party, is and continues to be the leader of the Shiv Sena Legislative Party of the 14th Maharashtra Legislative Assembly. And this is what is proposed and seconded by members of the legislature. And I hereby further resolve that Bharat Gogavle, elected and appointed as Chief Whip of the 14th Maharashtra Legislative Assembly, is cancelled with immediate, and Sunil Prabhu is cancelled with immediate effect, proposed and seconded. Now, Malas, there is no reference to any meeting of the party. There is no reference to any grievance made prior to this date. They are all members. He was serving as a minister for 2.5 years. There is no reference to any grievance that he has ever had. No reference. No reference to any statement he made in any organizational election. No reference. this suddenly could not have happened on the 21st of June, Malas. This sudden realization that this great injustice has been done, Malas. Obviously, this was planned. Malas, if anybody had any grievance of this nature, it would be in public statements, it will be in organizational meetings. After all, this is from 2018, we are in 2023 now, Malas. Not a single statement anywhere. So obviously, and what this statement is being made from Assam. Why Assam? So it's not something, it's all pre-planned, it's a conspiracy. It's not something that happened overnight. And you're talking about poll promises. Let me, Malas, talk of history then. Malas, the poll promise was broken at the time when Malas, Devendra Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar were sworn in the early hours of the morning by the governor. What about that poll promise? So let's not go into politics.
I was just going to say that now you are trenching into politics.
No, but this is all politics.
You're now leaving the area of constitution.
No, I know. But I said it in the context of the grievance that he has made. He has made a grievance of poll promise.
No, we are not at all, Mr.
Yes.
But
That will not.
So, Malas, let's go. That's why I said we are. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm-
But therefore, Mr. Sibal, ultimately, I mean, we're just sort of pushing your argument to its logical conclusion in constitutional terms.
Yes.
Therefore, what you are saying is that, look, when Eknath Shinde was nominated as a group leader and the whip was then nominated, the whip was also notified, it was at the behest of the party,
Yes.
albeit at the MLA's meeting.
Correct.
An alteration of that position was made at the meeting which was chaired by Mr. Uddhav Thackeray. The legislators could not have either abstained from the meeting, which was convened by the party president, nor could the legislators have replaced the whip or the group leader.
That's correct.
So that all that they did was really therefore was contrary to law and therefore invited a disqualification under the 10th schedule. All this really then leads us to this, that therefore they have incurred
The disqualification.
they have incurred a disqualification.
That's correct.
Now, having said that, therefore, this is therefore a case where the speaker has to ultimately decide upon the disqualification which they have incurred, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I understand.
That is, Mr. Sibal,
what
that
it
is an area which we are not able to come to bridge.
I will, Malas, I will. Yes. 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 Yes, I made that argument. Malas. Yes. I will try and, Malas,
Of course, the constitutional position of the speaker to decide.
Malas, I tell your lordship the problems in that area. But the kindly
Just
just,
problems in the area, we see that. But,
We understand.
also we understand the significance of the point which you have made, which is a very significant point for constitutional democracy, that ultimately the party is supreme.
yes,
And legislators get there into the House or the Parliament or the Legislative Assembly on the mandate of the party, what the party means to the people.
correct, correct.
Therefore, you are really elected as a representative of the party. Your behavior must be governed by what the party dictates.
Yes,
And a group of legislators, whether you are 1/3 or 1/10
Doesn't matter.
or even 75%,
that's right.
cannot be really determinative of the wishes of the parties. You can alter that position if the party authorizes you or you leave the
Correct.
party.
Correct.
So far, so good. I mean, that's a very significant point which you have made. But
I understand.
the
point is-
point,
The
the
next
next
point,
point, I
the
mean,
next
what is the
point.
consequence?
Yeah, I will, but I'll
That
try and
is-
attempt.
Which you are really telling us that, look, the facts stare you in the face. Now, why go to the speaker?
Yes, that's what my submission is. What is
There are
it
two
that the
folds.
speaker is going to do in this?
It could be twofold. One, as you say, well, the speaker himself cannot be trusted as an impartial arbiter.
I withdraw that, Malas, because we are talking about the constitutional
That's
position.
right.
Malas.
The second would be where the facts are so clear.
Yeah,
Then you take the decision with the
Yeah.
speaker ought to have decided that there is only one and one conclusion.
that's right.
That, Mr. Sibal, honestly,
Speaker has
that
to
is
decide.
that is a matter of disquiet for speaking for myself. I mean, should the court be taking into that, entering into
well,
that area? That's an area of
Your lordships have been persuaded in the past. I hope to persuade you in the
That-
future as well.
it has very serious ramifications. Just
but
as
then-
yours, the ramifications.
I will, Malas, address your lordships on that.
The ramifications which you have referred to for constitutional democracy, if individual legislators start bucking the party discipline, Really, there are very serious ramifications if we start taking over these functions.
Very dangerous.
No, Malas, what happened was,
Very,
in one particular case, which is the Constitution bench, Malas, where they said that this illegality cannot be continued even for a day. So we will take the decision.
because
They are occupying the post of the minister. This cannot continue even for a day. I will not send it back. We will
Right or wrong, this is the system which we have now assumed to ourselves as we the people. And when the courts try and breach the system, it's a very,
No, Malas, I understand.
that's what is worrying us. I mean,
Malas,
put it to you right up at the forefront.
Quite frankly, a constitutional court should be worried because if you create this as a precedent, it can happen in other situations as well, and that not be a good precedent. But I am not disputing that. Please, I am not. I know the limitations of a constitutional court. I know that, Malas. But what has happened in this case, unfortunately, is that this has happened because of a judicial order. This would never have happened.
All right, we also go to this extent that, if a situation transpires because of a judicial order, we are not saying that it has.
Yes,
we are
I understand that. I understand.
your argument.
Yes.
And therefore, it's the duty of a court to rectify a situation which emerges as a result of its own order.
That's right.
All right. In various other contexts, we always say active.
You have said that in several judgments. Malas.
Neminem gravibit.
Yes.
But assuming that is so,
Yes.
and we place ourselves in the position in which the court was, say, immediately before the 27th,
Yes.
what would the court then have done? That, look, let the speaker decide. Keeping aside the issue of 2-day or 7-day notice.
Yes.
Let the speaker decide.
Yes.
So if we have to restore the position as it would have been, but for that order of the 27th, we would have said, let the speaker decide.
Yes.
Possibly, your argument would be, until the speaker is deciding, no trust vote. Let them take a decision first, and then, because the trust vote...
Because everything helped there after that happened because of this order.
But therefore, if you have to restore the situation as it stands immediately before the interim order of this court, we can restore it by saying that, well, the speaker has to take a decision.
Right,
as
as
of that
of
date.
date.
Yes.
Had they incurred a disqualification.
Yes.
But it would be very difficult for us to take over that function.
Malas, I don't mind, Malas. Let that deputy speaker decide. I have no problem with that. That's what happened in...
Therefore, which deputy speaker?
The speaker, Malas, who was denied the right to continue with the disqualification. This has happened in the other case.
So then we restore a putative state of affairs.
Yes, your lordships have done
Completely
that.
overtaken by events.
In Nabam Nemia, your lordships have done exactly that. Exactly that. Because when I argued this before the Constitution bench then, I said, my lords, what is happening is you let things happen and then you will tell me later that we can't reverse it. He said, no, we will reverse it.
Sibbal, then you support Nabam Rebia's course of action when it suits you. And when Nabam Rebia is creating a problem, you wanted to...
No, Malas, that's because there are two different issues in Nabam Rebia, Malas.
All right.
Malas, I'm sorry, Malas. You can't put that argument.
No, we're not at all.
There are two different issues. Malas, in fact, I was wondering when your lordships are going to decide to refer it to 7 because this is a real problem. Because that's intrinsically at the heart of the matter, which is why I said you take it up as a preliminary submission. Malas, because ultimately this can only be decided.
But Mr. Sibbal, look at the consequence. You today have a speaker. You have a speaker in a democratically elected house. Tomorrow you may have a speaker in parliament. Can the Supreme Court say, sorry, we are now overriding the mandate of this speaker. We will retrace our steps back to say now something which is 8 months ago, restore a speaker who is now no longer holding the office of the speaker, and we tell you, we now decide that somebody is the speaker.
He is still deputy speaker.
Huh?
He is still deputy speaker.
And ask that
But he is
speaker or
still deputy speaker,
to
Malas.
take a consequence. I mean,
He is still deputy speaker. Malas, all right. Well, one second. Hold on. You got a lot of hurdles to cross. But anyway, let me.
you're all very seasoned constitutional lawyers, but you know what is worrying us.
No, I'm not going to.
You
I'm not going to
what is worrying us.
make a proposition that will in fact destroy the fabric of a constitutional structure that has been in place since independence, since we were a republic. I'm not going to do that. But see what has happened. First of all, the no stays, I mean, they are given time till 12th July, but more important, On the 29th, this court says that we will set aside everything that happens thereafter. See, Malas, where we are now. We say, please stay everything. Don't allow the trust vote to happen. Decide this matter. It could have been decided on the 12th of July. Then the court tells us, no, doesn't matter. On the 29th, all that is subject. Now your lordships are telling me, how can it be subject? Now your lordships are telling me, rightly maybe, that how can we go back on 27th? But that's exactly because of the two court orders. What do we do?
But the court order was also prompted by what your speaker did.
I said, you stay. Don't allow them to take the oath. Don't have a trust vote. We said that. Then on 29th June, that order is passed. Thereafter, all matters are placed.
Had your speaker chosen to follow the law by giving them 7 days.
No, but the law is Naban Rebium. The law is hollow on.
The court would have said, all right, go and respond to the
law. Is hollow on. I tell your lordship now, I can't in hindsight say what the court should have done was stayed everything, allowed them to file a reply and allow after 12th of June for the speaker to decide. What is the problem? There was no problem. But the status quo changed. Well, they were given time till 12th of July. All right, let them give time. Despite the fact that it is contrary to Hollow, forget it. They should have been given time. They should have filed a reply. The deputy speaker would have decided, why allow the status quo to be changed? And that also, because a judicial order says, doesn't matter, even if the status quo is changed, we'll restore it back. So we had two judicial orders then. And now your lordship rightly puts now under the proceedings of the House, a new speaker has been appointed. But then you yourself said that we will deal with it. All that will be subject to.
So essentially, we'll therefore have to invalidate the trust vote which took place on the...
Because it was only on the basis of these 39
a trust vote which we will have to invalidate, a trust vote which never took place. So
no. Even the trust vote that took place on 4th is subject to, Malad. I'm sorry. All other actions are subject.
My learned brother just...
I'm sorry.